Hey, welcome back, guys. Now, that is how you kick off a premiere to your final season. Power Ghost episode 401 literally picked up right where the season 3 finale left off, depicting our series lead and his partner in crime on the literal run for their lives and using anything in their grasp to attain the upper hand. I'm here to break it all down in typical top 10 WTF fashion. Before we begin, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and bell notification to immediately receive these videos. Also, big thank you to all of my channel donors. If you'd like to be the next one, drop $1 on that Cash App for us. And lastly, a spoiler alert is now in effect for all things Power. Here we go. WTF moment number 10, Aftermath. In the immediate fallout of Tariq's escape, Obi's hand is forced when two of Noma's bodyguards threaten his position as number 2 by asking 2 questions too many in regards to Obi's complicity in the matter. Then, later in the episode, we witness the apoplectic Noma placing a $100,000 bounty on not just Tariq's head, but Brayden's as well, declaring that Tariq knows just too much and that someone of his small stature won't be the end of her. WTF moment number 9, Judgment Day. Monet Tejada, literally in the fight for her life, awakens in a strange room of sorts, only to be confronted by her 2 former lovers, Lorenzo Tejada and the almighty Mecca from season 2. The 2 men hold her feet to the fire in regards to her actions that led her up to this point, and even Zeke is called in to appeal to her inner humanity and, more importantly, accountability, something that's still fleeting within the very soul of the Tejada matriarch. But I'll get more into this segment in a video to come, because it was a very deep one, and although she was tried and very heavily tested, she did eventually awaken from this spiritual purgatory. WTF moment number 8, Operation Anya. Tariq and Brayden, with nothing but M16s and a plan, decide to go after the only leverage that they have over Noma, and that's her very own daughter. The 2 concoct a plan and attempt to roll up on Anya Call of Duty Black Ops style, and are met with equal firearm resistance in the form of Noma's bodyguards, much of which are taken out brutally in the kidnapping attempt, which, as we would learn later, would bode well for them once Noma put out that bounty. WTF moment number 7, Home Invasion. Wounded, but ever willful, Kane seeks out Brayden's family in an effort to discover the whereabouts of him and Tariq. Against Effie's better wishes, Kane forcefully enters the Weston home, knocking out Trace and brutally pistol whipping him before his father comes down to intervene, only aborting the madman mission upon learning of their ignorance regarding Tariq and Brayden's whereabouts and the police presence that is sure to come. WTF moment number 6, Kidnappers. Drew and Diana, or as they've come to be known as Drew-Anna, concoct a kidnapping plot all their own, as Diana still has ties to Stansfield and Becca by extension, who happens to be Brayden's sister. The 2 await in Diana's dorm room until Becca returns, only to deceitfully inform her that Brayden owes some bad people and has sent them to help. Then, and perhaps most hilariously, Drew calls Brayden and informs him that he has Becca in captivity, and even worse, if Brayden doesn't show to the given location, he's gonna kill her. Now, this was one of the most laughable sequences throughout the whole episode, because no one takes Drew as some hard-bodied figure, even though he's committed violence in his own instances. But come on, dude, don't nobody take your mama say mama pusa ass seriously. But moving on. WTF moment number 5, Crash Out. As Becca lingers aimlessly in the back of Drew's car, she begins to question him further and even attempts to call out to her family. Drew foolishly shows his hand by refusing to allow her access to do these things, leading to her hitting him with the pepper spray and subsequently fleeing away from his grasp. Then, she's rescued by her brother and Tariq, the latter of which who apprehends a truck and literally crashes into Drew, scarring him heavily for the rest of the episode and stopping his attempt to ransom them any further. WTF moment number 4, Middle finger to the money. In another shocking sequence, Davis is on the phone fighting for his license when he's suddenly confronted by Noma and Obi, who offer Davis the ransom money in exchange for the whereabouts of Tariq and Brayden. Surprisingly, and in a move that's completely outside of his character, he denies the money emphatically, opting to protect his clients and, dare I say, friends to a lesser degree over monetary gain. Now, as virtuous as this may seem on the surface, it would make sense that he wants to keep Brayden and Tariq alive, because after all, when and if they get out of this situation, they are going to need a good lawyer, right? Gotta keep the long game in mind when considering any money move. So salute to Davis. WTF moment number 3, Warning. While on campus, Kane and Effie continue their search for Tariq, even dismembering his dorm room in an effort to find him. Upon leaving that dorm room, Effie sends Tariq a warning text stating that Kane has come to kill you, and not only that, but that there may be others. Now it's interesting that Effie would flip this way, because literally just hours ago in the general timeline, she had not only turned on Tariq, but had pointed a gun and was shooting at Tariq. But hey, maybe leaving that dorm room and reminiscing on all those back shots put the good sense in her mind, and she decided, hey, I know I was mad and I might have been tripping, but I don't want this nigga dead. But the thing is, you don't get to decide that right now. And Effie's gonna soon learn what Marlo Stansfield once communicated to us all. You want it one way, but it's the other way. WTF moment number 2, another Fed bites the dust. In the final act of Tariq and Braden's escape, the two are confronted by none other than Agent Young, an overzealous relative of Angela Valdez, and the last link to the drug conspiracy against Tariq and all of his partners, as Sachs will leave him a jump drive, exposing the entire cadre. During the confrontation, the trio are confronted by one of Noma's shooters, and after the agent takes the shooter out, Tariq and Braden get the upper hand on him and use him as leverage to get Noma to not only call off the bounty, but allow them to keep their lives in the immediate future, threatening to use the information against her if she reneges. Then, after sending Braden to make an anonymous tip and get the police involved, Tariq does what we've seen him do so easily, and dare I say casually up to this point, which is to kill a man in his own interest. But this one had more of a personal tinge to it, something I'll get into in just a second. And WTF moment number 1, a vengeful vow. In the final scene of the premiere, we're introduced to Detective Don Carter, who's seeking solace at a nearby cathedral for the loss of his wife and the many sins that led to this loss. Then, Paz appears at the same religious institution and reveals to him that her son had been murdered in connection with investigating Tariq St. Patrick and other dealers. With his heart already on the mend, given the personal losses that he's taken off screen, he embraces Paz and vows to take down the perpetrators who eliminated her son in the name of the law and his love simultaneously. Some lingering thoughts before we end today's video. The title of this long-anticipated premiere is I Don't Die Easy, and as much as it applies to Tariq on the surface, it's really aimed at Monet, no pun intended, as she fights for her life under a state of coma and judgment in the form of Lorenzo, Mecca, and her own nephew's son, Z. This is alluded to further by Effie's statement to Kane that, quote, your mom is tough as fuck. She's gonna make it, because I know how stubborn you Tejadas are. The bullets don't stand a chance. With that understanding in mind, don't get it twisted. This most certainly applies to our series lead as well. He's evaded capture in the short term, dealt some critical damage to his enemies, Noma's bodyguards and Drew, and even used another overzealous federal agent to finesse a truce with Noma, while simultaneously killing the agent and robbing him of the damning info against her, further securing his life in the long run. He's closer to the ghost man than he knows, and than we've all given him credit for. Monet's survival spells bad news for her shooter, as she inquired about the offender, who was mistakenly identified as Tariq, according to Juana, and the story they fed Kane. But one thing is for certain, the Tejadas currently don't know that it was really Tasha who took the kill shot at Monet, and may God have mercy on her soul once they find out. While we're on Monet, the game saw fit to spare her life, but charged her with accountability via the many apparitions she was faced with. How will such an experience direct her path in the episodes to come? In case you missed it, I did a full video detailing her worst sins up to this point, and hopefully, she keeps the aforementioned in mind when calculating her next few steps. Tariq's murder of Agent Young begs the question, just how personal was this killing for Tariq? When the agent mentioned his connection to Angela, his fate was all but sealed, and you can see it in Tariq's eyes. He took out his wrath of being forced to come up in a broken home on his father, but never got the chance to directly affect anyone connected to his mistress. And it's in the opinion of this commentator that he absolutely relished the chance to tie up this loose thread in his family's history. Braden's father did not really say jungle bunnies and monkey in reference to the crazy niggas running into his house, beating his family to a bloody pulp, and street poisoning his son, did he? And lastly, what is Paz's connection to Detective Carter? Does she know of him through their shared religious institution, or is there something more? Given the brief exchange between them, there's a few takeaways to consider, but we'll certainly deduce more as the narrative builds. But that'll do it for this one. What were your thoughts on the Power Ghost Season 4 Episode 1 premiere? Be sure to drop me your opinions in the comments below. As always, I thank you for watching today's video. If you liked today's video, go ahead and drop $1 on that Cash App for us, hit the like button, share it with your friends who are Power fans, and subscribe for more content such as this. This is Rudy P. Magic of Rudy P. Magic Beats, and have a blessed one until the next one. Peace, y'all.